Okay.
So we are back live again. I am so sorry for this hiccup. Apparently, this was, like we just said with Sudan, the point of this whole conversation. We are in this together. Sudan and everybody, of course, who's just joining, thank you so much for bearing with us. I just dropped out and couldn't join anymore. So the whole setup, what I've done was great, but at the end it didn't work out. Anyway, Sudan, I'm so grateful for your patience here with me and with this whole tech topic, what I'm just currently in. And we just finished and closed, and I'm not sure what you were talking about at the end because I couldn't hear everything, but we were just talking about providing the stage for someone, right? So, and now I am again able to provide the stage for you. And
Thanks.
and I just would like you to maybe share the last topic with us, if you don't mind, about the stage and what you think. How can leaders at the moment provide the stage for people working at home? And yes, like you see, we all are facing at some point or another somewhere where we need basically to understand that we are in this together, right?
Absolutely. And yeah, this was a perfect example for the fact that yeah, there's gonna be technical difficulties. I mean, and we just got to get over it, you know. And one thing I love to say is the problem is never the problem. You know, it's how we deal with it. That's the thing. And if we deal with things together in a collaborative way, then that's all fine. And
Mm.
so what I was saying before the technical problem started was, yes, setting the stage. I'll try to recap it just really really quickly. Traditionally, managers at higher positions are not the ones doing the actual work, the artistry, or whatever you want to call it. um, so there has to be some type of justification for their existence in the company, you know. I mean, and I don't want it to sound too negative, and I don't want a bunch of managers to come beating down my door, to drag me outside and say, this guy, you know. But I mean, let's all be honest with each other. After you get to a certain level, it's no longer about the actual things that you actually did yourself, because it's your team doing these things. And so that means, I believe, in a modern context, as high level managers, we have to be able to to give people the freedom to work in a self-directed way. I don't believe in micromanagement at all. We should be clearing obstacles out of their way. We should be a coach, a helper, and a facilitator, a friend, and not the person who takes their results and reports them in the board meeting. It should be their achievement, and they should be the ones getting the applause for it. And I mean, I'm not going to mention now some special tool or practice that you can use to do this, but giving teams the freedom to be self-directed is the most important thing, and helping them to learn and grow is the main message here. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much for wrapping it up and repeating it, maybe in one or another way. But as you know, some people are very attracted to certain things when it comes to title, etc. And this might be, of course, right and great for some people. However, when it comes to collaborating on a distance and do all the remote work, is, I think, especially important when you want to keep up the productivity, if you want to keep the engagement within teams and motivate people to maybe go the extra mile, to be the innovator, for example, in situations like this, right? Not to give up if something doesn't work out. or to find new ways if you see a new normal in front of you, for example. And this brings me to our last topic, what I would love to talk with you today, and then we're gonna just close up this whole interview today, is the bias. It's something what I think is, yes, we were talking about it on a call a few weeks ago when I was just walking through Berlin, and we were talking about this because it was just a hot topic overall. But I would love to see and hear your perspective about the biases in tech or not in tech and in our workplace overall. What's your perspective, especially you, of course, working right now in Germany as well, and your experience overall and opinion about that.
Yeah, hot topic at the moment, and I don't want to get political about it or whatever, but I'll just say, the title of this whole interview, we're all in this together, man. We are all people, and we all have the same types of goals and dreams and all those things. In the end, we are people, usually in our jobs, who are creating products and services for people. We're not doing it just for ourselves. Okay, maybe some artists are doing it for themselves because they like their art and they like their music and they want to express themselves. But I mean, most of us, when we go to work, we're doing things for people. And what happens, though, is that we forget that we are all biased in some way, one way or another. And it comes from a lot of different places. One of the most common places that bias comes from is the so-called confirmation bias, right? So there's a whole bunch of stuff out there that we believe about the world. And when we watch the news, when we talk to friends and colleagues and so on, they are constantly telling us things that either confirm our worldview or they kind of dismiss our worldview, and it gives us the reason to say, you see, I told you, So we need to be careful of it, and we need to be aware of confirmation bias and other types of biases, because what happens is that the technology we build reflects what's in us. And one of my favorite authors, he said it so well. He said, well, computers are in reality really stupid things that have the potential to do something really incredibly intelligent if we program them right. Yeah. And we human beings are these really intelligent things that have the capacity to do really, really stupid things. And the funny thing is, it is the truth. We build our biases into the technology that we have, whether we want to or not. And one of the ways to get around that, or to help, not get around it, but to make sure that we don't build biased software or machines, facial recognition systems. For Google, they fixed it, but that would recognize dark-skinned people as gorillas. I mean, come on, right? I mean, but one thing I have to say, stereotype and bias are two different things, right? I mean, sometimes stereotypes have their roots in truth. I mean, everyone's going to say, people are going to hate me now when I say, yeah, I mean, us Black people, we can all dance, right? and play basketball. And yes, I have a genetic predisposition to liking chicken. Yeah, I do. So those are all stereotypes, but the stereotypes become dangerous when we use them in the wrong way, and we start to program machines to exclude people from things, or we program machines to target people for things and stuff like that, which we don't want to do. And especially, in the world of commerce, it's not just about facial recognition software and law enforcement and legal systems or whatever, or money lending. It's also about commerce and how we may be biased towards a certain type of customer base, or that we don't include people in our customer base that should be included, things like that. But one last thing here. Yes, we cannot always have everyone on board to represent every possible person who might ever buy our products, to make sure that they're checking for biases. Obviously, we can't do that, but we can, again, start to apply common sense and to ask the question: does this exclude people? Does it hurt people? And if what we're building has the potential to hurt people, or something like that, then we really need to be ethical enough to go back and change it, or to not build it in the first place. Yeah, and that's something that we all need to keep in mind.
And we can all mess up, from my point of view, and basically maybe fail at one or another thing, and then just be honest about that and fix it, and stand up, dust off, and start over again. That's perfectly fine as well, without basically beating ourselves up or others up for anything that happened, especially when we innovate, when we do things that might not be now at the market, that maybe take things that take way much more effort and energy than something what we do on a regular basis, basically something out of our normal or out of our habits. Sudan, thank you so much for sharing. And once again, really, really sorry for this hiccup within this live here today. Never ever happened before. Another learning curve. Basically, it made the point for our live here today. To be honest, it could not be any better at the end of the day. I will definitely make sure to check things. We checked everything before the LinkedIn live, before the live, like never mind. Sometimes you just have to roll and go with the flow. And this is what we do, no matter what is coming along our way, our journey. It's up to maybe change your perspective, maybe question things the way how we were doing it, or maybe just facing and say, yeah, maybe sometimes it happens, and now let's move on. It's not the end of the world. And to be honest, I just saw a post and just got a story about someone last week. There are really bad things happening around the world at the moment. So when we are in a privileged position, like in a safe place with enough food, etc., it's up to us, I think, to really understand that we are in this together and do our best on the daily basis, and understand that failing is basically part of the journey.
Yes, absolutely. Couldn't agree more.
Sudan, thank you so much. What would you like to leave the audience with? One last words of you have, of course, where can people find you? I will share the People Youth blog in the comments below, of course, the two blog posts what we were referring to as well, where people can read up a little bit more and get us a summary after this short break here within this live. So I will share this, but what would you say at the end when you think about we are in this together, when it comes to especially those two topics what we were talking about?
Yes. Well, I think what I'd like to leave people with is just the idea that, hey, we're all capable of so many things, and the best way for us to do things is together. I mean, one of the mottos of Commerce Tools is, if you want to go fast, go alone, and if you want to go far, go together. And I think that's it's a really wonderful value to have. And so I think that's the message I want to leave people with today.
That's so beautiful. I love it. Thank you so much for sharing, and thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for tuning in. Whoever is watching maybe the first one or the second one, I will link those and try to fix this as well, of course, so people are able to exit it easier. So again, thank you so much, Sudan, for your time, and I wish everybody a beautiful evening. Bye.
Goodbye.